Namaste everyone. Today is Natural Ecology Group 44th webinar, and today's topic is human relations and lessons to be learned from the Puranas to follow in the current times. And today the presenter is Dr. Dhananjay Dongreji, who is an expert and who studied all the Puranas, Vedas and Itihas in a large extensive way. And in the last webinars, we also discussed about what are the mantras to chant for water purification and etc. Yeah, Dhananjay ji, over to you. One second. Yeah, now we are able to hear you, sir.
Okay. So I'll proceed. Today, the subject is human relations. Today, in the family, and also what we can learn from the Puranas as a guideline. When we say that we have to learn something from the other, it is necessary that there should be many similarities between the two entities, the life of family today, in today's circumstances, in the context of the place and time, both, and in the time that the Puranas talk about. I gave you the understanding that Puranas tell the stories that have happened yesterday, they are happening today, and they will happen tomorrow also. Yes, it is true, but it is not like a cut-paste item. You can just read something in the Puranas and you will be able to connect it here. No. It amounts to, frankly speaking, like analyzing a case as a doctor would analyze or a lawyer would analyze. In what way does it say that way? Let us try to understand. Today, Hindu undivided family is a thing of the past. It is living, frankly speaking, only in the books of income tax. Otherwise, most of the people have separated from each other as soon as they start earning. Many a times, it is not possible that everybody will get education which will allow them to serve from the place where they were raised. No, it is not possible today. That means you have to leave the place where you lived and go somewhere else. Create relations there. Do relations get created fast? And if so, when and how do relations get created? What I would say is like this. Relation, translated in the language which we all understand, is sambandha, and the relatives sambandhi. The sambandha is a word we should try and understand. Sa is related to water. Snigdhatva is the essential characteristic of water. What do we mean by snigdhatva here? When we apply water to our face, eyes, it gives us a very pleasant, affectionate, cooling feeling. That is the snigdhatva. When a grandmother looks towards the grandchild, what her eyes are reflecting is nothing but this so-called snigdhatva. That will tell you how snigdhatva looks like. Now this sa means jala, then ba is prithvi. is Akash, Dha is again Jala, and E is Agni, Sambandhi. See, very interesting. We are all having Parthiva Deha. So this Prithvi is a word included here in the word Sambandhi or Sambandha. It is essential that the relations be snigdha, affectionate. Therefore, these sa and dha, two syllables have come here. Akash is what? Here is Akash. We say that the marriages are fixed in heavens, not on earth. In the same way, the Runanubandha, as we normally say, has the same meaning. Why these people come together as relatives, husband, wife, children, mother, father. It is because of that relation of the past, which they are trying to pay back in this birth. Now, in order that this sambandha becomes fruitful, what is required? Can you tell me how many of you have lived in a joint family, at least in their childhood? I suppose not many, hardly maybe 5% or so. And today, how many are living in the joint family? Practically nil. So how will you know how the sambandha develops? The sambandha develops out of sahavasa. What is sahavasa? Again, we try to analyze these words. Sa, ha, va, a, and sa. Sa again means jala here. Ha is Akash. Kindly understand that like Omkar, Ha is also a syllable capable of giving rise to whole Vishwa. The way we say this whole Vishwa has come up from Om, same is the case here in case of Ha. Ha is the word which tantrics use more, and that time they say it is from this Ha that this word has come into being. Then Va is again Jala. A is Vayu. A, you will understand, has Dirgha A. Rasva A, Dirgha A. Rasva I, Dirgha I. What do they signify? Rasva means male, Purusha, and Dirgha means Stri. So, what does it mean here? Now let us say, the people have come together because of their past relations, okay, but then they should have the Jala Snigdha element predominant among the relation. That is why Sa, Va, again Sa, and A here means Akhandata, continuity, and it also means Vayu. It is a syllable which is related to Vayu. Vayu is a force, driving force. Unless there is an energy, things cannot move. So it is this sahavasa which creates the affection towards each other. Do we have that kind of a sahavas today? I will give you an example. One gentleman known to me in my business days had a nice flourishing business, and he had purchased a factory near Nasik and had purchased a big house at Nasik. It was a big bungalow which he had purchased, having as many as 30 rooms. And he had only one son who was married and had 1 or 2 children. The son had been educated abroad and had lived also most of the time abroad. What happened here? The boy said to the father, "What have you given me in all my life other than the money?" Can you imagine somebody talking this kind of sentence to the father? Yes, but he said, "This is what I believe is true. You have not given me anything like love, affection, because they had never practically lived together. Saha Vasa." Then what happened? The boy went away again abroad, and only this husband and wife remained. What was the use of the money and the house that they had now available to them, and the time also at their disposal? There were no children around, no son, no daughter-in-law, no young person to help them in any way. Is it for this purpose that they shifted to Nasik by selling everything in Mumbai and shifting to Nasik, a Bengali gentleman? Well, but then this is what life is. That is what we should understand. Now, how can you say that this kind of a situation has been described in Puranas? What we'll have to accept is that you cannot have the ditto version of this story written in the Puranas, because the times, the laws, the way we people live together or otherwise had changed a lot. Many people have some misunderstanding in their mind that in the olden days, the students used to go to the Gurukul of the Rishis and stay there for 12 years or so, 15, whatever. It is not the truth. Truth is that the Kshatriya and Vaishya community boys did go to Gurukul ashram, but not for this longer time. Even in the Bhagavatam, it is stated that Krishna went to Gurukul of Sandipani Rishi, but for how much time? 2 months, not for 12 years, 18 years, like that. It depends upon the kind of expertise that you need to have in terms of the spiritual matters and a worldview which copes or which uses it to gain the fruitful existence on this planet Earth and also beyond. For the Baniyas and the Kshatriyas, the life here is more complicated. A Brahman has been left away from the mainstream of the society, because if they also get intermingled in the society, what will happen? The same guna doshas that the people in the society exhibit will affect them also. And then what will happen is that the spiritual adarsha, ideals, which these rishis or Brahmins were supposed to exhibit or supposed to display, would get lost. Today, that has happened, very much so. The so-called acharyas have left their gurukuls and have come to live in the cities in the form of teachers. But the real charm has gone away because they have to depend on the salary. They have to depend on the money that they earn. And what has happened is that they are running after the money, changing places, whether they are teaching here or somewhere else. Wherever the more money is offered, they tend to go. Can this make a person steady anywhere? Same is the case about the people who are in the age group where people earn money. For example, today people in the computer field have been earning more as compared to the rest of the population. When I graduated, that time engineering and medicine were the two fields which were crowded. You may say overcrowded or whatever. Why? Because people thought that this is the knowledge which our country did not have. The Britishers have given this, and we must take this knowledge so as to prosper on this earth and earn money. Yes, this was what was the motive. When I graduated, the dollar used to fetch 3.5 rupees. Today, it is something around 70 rupees. So how much has the price of dollar gone up? You can imagine what repercussions it would have. 90% of the students of my age group migrated abroad after finishing their medicine because of this difference, which was attractive to them. $1 equal to, from 3.5 it became 4 rupees, and that was lucrative enough because it is 4 times the earning what they had in India. Same was the case with the engineers, but to a lesser extent because engineering jobs were not so much in plenty available abroad. But with the advent of the computer science, more jobs became available and less number of people abroad were trained for that purpose. Those of you who have been abroad or are staying abroad know that the original population, let's say, which has migrated to America about 150 years back or so, and the people that they had carried with them, you will find that that class is no longer so very working hard. They have become lazy. And therefore, America, which has a very vast land, vast natural resources, and less number of people, and still lesser number of people who were inclined to study, they made a very wise decision of establishing nice universities there, bring people from abroad with the attraction of $1 fetching 4 rupees and things like that, to live in their country, do research, and that is what has paid America very handsomely. What you find is that this is the state of affairs. But now, how has it affected here? Here, today you find that the people of my generation, let's say from 70 or above, or even 65 or so, or perhaps even some might be in the range of 60, 65. They have all their children moved abroad. Are they earning well? It is very difficult to say that, because earning is understood in different ways. I have also done business abroad, sold my products abroad. My customers, who were mostly Jews, they used to ask a very blunt question: how much worth are you? In India, this is not the way people ask, but in America they do. Then if I told them that I have 4 servants at home, all their questions used to be stopped, and they came round to other technical discussions. In other words, their eyes look at the amount of money that you can use to buy things that you want. In America, to have 4 servants at home is a luxury very few people can afford. But in India, here this is the case. Now, when this has happened, most of the people who have gone abroad have gone abroad in a situation which was like this. The people here, their parents were not earning much, were living a mediocre life. And these people went abroad, got some degree there, or got some job there, and started serving there. The amount of money that they get there is not really speaking that big. And the result is that their wives or children find the life there is not as sukhakara as it is here in India. But then how do they live abroad even today under such circumstances? The reasons are different. Let us not discuss them now. But this has created a situation that this sahvas between the father and the son, or father and the daughter, or the husband and wife has become very less. Everybody is in the race of earning money. What does it mean? It means their egos get inflated. There is always a tussle as to who is bigger, who is more intelligent, or who is more worldly wise. The quality of being worldly wise or otherwise does have some connection in the happiness of the individuals or not. Because see, the nature behaves in a different way. When a woman delivers a child, the child needs nutrition, the milk from the mother. And milk mother gets and is obliged to pass on to the child. Here, one is a giver and another is a receiver. But understand, those of you who are ladies will definitely understand this better, that by giving, they become happy. By not giving, they become hurt. And a child really enjoys what it gets from the mother. That milk is also snigdha, and so is her look. When she looks at the child, that snigdhatvam, which is present in her eyes, make the child very, very happy. Now, if this situation is to be continued or understood, or something which we feel should be the hallmark of our life here. Let us be frank and say that this is not the case today, because the cost of living here in India has gone so high that one needs to have a lot of money to buy a house. For example, I bought my place about 38-40 years back at the cost of 2.5 lakh of rupees. Today, if I were to buy this place, it will not cost anything less than 2 crores. I have used it for so many years. So as a matter of fact, it should depreciate. But what has happened is, because of the bad relations that have got developed, which are harmful to the society in general, the relation between the politicians, the bureaucrats, and the businessmen who are in the construction business have raised these prices so very high and making life very, very difficult for the newcomers who have nothing from their previous generation. Now, what are we to get under such circumstances from the Puranas? Here comes the question. Are any such stories of ordinary people described in the Puranas? Not really. The details of the life of kings are given to some extent, but not very many details of the people who are called as common people. Because generally speaking, when you want to read something, you want to know about people who are big in your eyes, in the eyes of the society. And they are the rich people, the kings who have power and money both. Then what does a normal man feel about it? Here I will give you an example. In the previous days, people, when there were no cinemas, no TVs, people used to go to listen to the kirtan in the temple. As a child, I have gone few times. And I will tell you from my experience, even I have taken much after that, the Kirtankar describes the story in a lucid way, very interesting way. Okay. But the conclusions that he gives are given from the eyes of Vyasa Maharshi or Valmiki Rishi and the kind. Why? Because it was the duty of the Puranic or Kirtankar to spread what the Rishis have left for us. They did not give the views of their own, because it is this commentary on the life which is given by the sages like Valmiki or Vyasa, that is important, because that gives the nutshell, the sara or the concluding remarks which count. Today what has happened is, people go to movies or people see so many serials on the TV sitting at home. Who are the authors of these? They are ordinary persons, and they are giving their views, their viewpoints, the so-called views of the ordinary people, and in their language and in their views. What does it give to the one who is a viewer? Same thing is passed on to him. The views of ordinary persons given to the ordinary viewers. Can learning take place there? No. Learning can be expected only when there is a difference in the levels. Those who are at the high level, they tell us something. Then in their eyes, what they see, the world as it is, and what we see as ordinary people will show a great deal of difference. And this difference is to be noted, and we have to make efforts to see to it that this difference reduces, our life rises to the higher levels. This is the very purpose of reading Purana. As I said before, you cannot see cut paste stories there. You need to understand them. Kindly have patience and think that every one of us has spent at least 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years in colleges to learn some subjects, whether we liked it or otherwise. We have studied them because we thought, or our parents thought, that will fetch us money. So getting money was the only purpose behind taking that education and nothing else. And that is what that education gives. And therefore, the very viewpoints of the so-called educated people fall short of what our Valmiki or Vyasara have told us to be. Okay, can we just ask what, if anybody wants to know or want me to elaborate on different aspect? Any questions? Sudhirji?
Yeah. Yes, sir. We will go for the question and answers. Anyone have a questions? Please raise your hands. Yeah. Venkateshwar garu. Unmute yourself, sir.
Yes, please. Venkateshwaraluji.
Unmute yourself, sir. Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Good morning. There is a saying in Sanskrit, Satyam Bruyat, Priyam Bruyat, Nabruyat, Satyam Apriyam. The second part says you should not utter Satyam, even if it is Satyam, you should not do it in case it offends somebody. In case of scientists, that even if most of the people, even if all people are believing that Earth is flat, scientist has to say whether irrespective of offending or not offending, he has to say the truth. So is it not correct in the case of these scientists or some truth in the court or like that? Or it comes into the beliefs of, suppose religious beliefs also, sometimes it will come to, people will get offended if you tell the truth, but it is a satyam. How do we reconcile in this matter? And another thing is Dharmaraj and Harichandra, if you take
Not able to hear. Not able to hear.
Yeah.
Put
Okay, I will answer the
brothers
first
and
question.
wife are not able to.
Shall I answer the first question first?
Okay, sir.
Satyam Bruyat,
Please.
Priyam Bruyat. Yes, one should speak the Satyam, Priyam Bruyat. Now, let us understand this word Satyam in a little different context. Brahmandodar tirthani karais prushtani terave tena satyena me deva dehi tirtham divakara. This is a prayer to the sun god. What is being said here? You take or you lift up water with your hands, that is Kiran, and that water goes up in the sky in the form of clouds they form, and then again now we are requesting sun. Tena satyena me deva dehi tirtham divakara. Tena satyena, Me Deva Dehi Satyana. What Satya has to do here? Here, Satya means Hitakara. Give me water, rainfall, in such a way that it is Hitakara. If it is given at the wrong time, the crops will be useless. Is it not? Are you able to hear or not?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Because I read here that Venkateshwaralu's bandwidth is low and something like that.
Yeah.
So here we say that the sun god should give us rain in a way that is hitakar to us. This is the meaning of Satya here. So Satya bruyat, priyam bruyat. Bruyatna satyam apriyam. See, words change their meaning in the context in which they are uttered. This way, one wants to emphasize that just because you have understood the truth, it does not mean you should speak it out. Why? There are some reasons for it. What are they? What do we say? If they are true, but if people do not like it, do not speak that. This is the way the dictum goes. Again, it is showing here network bandwidth is low. Any problem? Lose network.
I am able to listen. I am
Okay.
able to listen.
Okay. And this is what is the meaning here, that you have to utilize your judgment and see whether it is going to be hitakara or otherwise. That is the meaning of Satya here. Yeah, now next question that you were asking, which I could not hear because of trouble. Yeah.
That one is Dharmaraj. He has put his brothers and wife in the bed, and these brothers were praised for their obedience to obey that one and taken the thing. And similarly, Harichandra, he sold his wife and son for honesty, for to keep his honest. And what do you think they are entitled to do that one? They are not his property or like cattle or something like that. Na? Is it justified? People still praise for this thing. Is it worth that way? Are they justified? That is my...
You see, you will realize that the so-called limits of normalcy differ at different times. Perhaps there might have been a time in your childhood when you sat in front of the grandfather or father as a mark of respect, or your mother may not have sat in front of her father-in-law. Have you not observed that?
Yes. Customs
These
changed.
so these were the customs, and they were observed. In the same way, what you say is not wrong, that where Draupadi or the other brothers, the slaves of Yudhishthira, they were brothers, all right, but were they slaves? How could he sell them?
Yes.
But you will realize that the respect or honor even to the eldest was so much so that whatever he did was not opposed. Now this is the way they behaved.
Yes.
Now whether Yudhishthir, what he did was right or wrong, can be debated.
Yes. In today's concept,
Draupadi has said, you see, what you will realize is that Draupadi was brought there in the very, very shameful way.
Yes.
But let us try to understand the psychology. It is said there that the dasis in those times were brought into the sabha in this kind of a way. Today also, there
Mm.
you can say casinos or bars where such you may not call them dasis today, but
Mm.
practically in the same condition, and they are brought there made to dance in the way which others will not accept. Otherwise, you see, the very purpose of these bars and such places is that they want to play with the women in this way. So that is considered as not objectionable even in today's times and probably even in the olden days. Slaves were treated in different ways from the servants. Ordinary servants were different and slaves were different.
Mm. Yes, yes.
So what we have to understand is that these customs differed now because there is no slavery involved. But you will find even in today's times, leave aside the very ordinary people, even the big people tend to go or follow the line of their so-called leaders, political leaders. Why? Because they have to survive. It is not that they agree with what their leader says, but they have to survive in their party and make the hay while it is okay. So this is the way people compromise in life.
Today's concept, is it praiseworthy still? Okay, that time that was relevant, but present day context, is it still praiseworthy? We see in the news, these cinemas, etc., they will be glorified as if it's a very big thing. Now it is not so big, is it not? In present context, we need not glorify it, is it not?
By all means, we need not glorify them.
Mm.
What happens normally speaking is that many a times these persons are shown in a different context also in which
Mm.
qualities are said to be noble,
Okay.
and then people tend to ignore that part which you are saying is not worthy
Yes, yes,
of being shown.
yes.
Will you agree with this?
Yes, sir, yes, yes.
This is what is happening.
Yeah.
Because you see, to sit in judgment of different people is not easy.
Yeah.
Realize that in the legal system of India, which existed before,
Mm.
Shankaracharyas did not give any judgments in the case of lower caste.
Uh-huh.
Why? Not because they belong to the lower caste.
Achha.
It is because the system existed that those castes had their own panchayat
Mm.
and they could sort out the problems in their way.
Achha.
The morality, the way of life, the so-called dignity and otherwise, these ideas differ in different stratas of the society. And it will be wrong on our part to expect that they will be the same in all the stratas of the society. In our Manusmriti or other smritis or the practical life, we have always allowed Kshatriyas, the kings, to marry more than one wife. Have we not? It has been allowed. Let us accept that. And nobody has objected to them. Why? Because as Kshatriyas, they had to maintain their kingdom and had to protect it from others. And for this thing to become easier, they created relations with the other kings and got their favors and protections. Now, this is a way Kshatriya behaves. Are we going to object to that?
No, you can't do that actually.
Then you say it means that the law must differ in different stratas of the society. Will you agree to that?
Agree. They changed from time to time based on the context. That's okay. But one more thing, sir. There are two types of people. One say ends are important, but not the means. Some others say means are also equally important as the ends. There are two types of people who argue for that and this. What is our opinion?
Yes, again here, same law applies.
Uh-huh.
Who is saying this and for whom?
Hmm.
You see,
Uh,
the ideals are different.
yeah.
In fact, Sri Krishna to behave is a different thing. Sri Krishna married 16,108 wives,
Hmm.
but he produced so many forms of his own. They, her,
Yes,
to
sir.
marry with all these and live with all these. Then what is
Hmm.
questionable in that?
Hmm. That is
So
okay.
it depends upon the qualifications of the person.
Achha. It is subjective.
Yes,
Moral. Achha, achha. Uh-huh. It's okay, sir.
yeah. Any
Yes, sir.
other
We'll
person?
take the next question from Pratap ji. Pratap ji, unmute yourself, please. Yeah.
Namaste, doctor. I'm
Namaste.
Pratap. I'm Pratap Kasbekar here. I've got one question. I just
Yeah.
want to tell you that in this when we were doing my education, we were never taught about this value of human relationship that is required in our schooling and college and universities and all that. We were told our lifestyle depends upon getting knowledge, growing up, becoming make money, rise in the society, and even our society, our relatives also used to feel that higher the education, the more you go. Even if you're an engineer, and if you work in India, you're still looked little down compared to that if you're working overseas and all that stuff. And now what's happening is, and all the today the environment, this human, that relationship of the past, how the qualities were there, or the thread which is there, has never really, somewhere it has disappeared in our when I say now I'm 54 years old, it has really actually gone. Now again, I think slowly, I think the last 5 years or 6 years, people are really coming back to the, going back to the roots. Why is this such a type of a change? A break has happened in our lifestyle. Even our entire society has changed. Even if I go back into India and all that, we find people are not having these values today, what you are talking about. There is a lot of shifting has happened more towards Western culture or this thing. Why our roots have been eroded? That's my question, sir.
That is because Britishers made special efforts for doing or achieving this. You see, if you take education and that education does not bring you your Ajivika, then what is the purpose? That is what people feel. Now, here the system was different in the sense that the labor class, which had all the skills with them, like carpentry or smithy or mason, those people had their skills and they were earning on their own. But if you find that the so-called Marwadi type of construction here, which started in Mumbai, the Marwadis had in their eyes the Sangam rubber, Sangamarmar as a stone which is of good quality and the rich people should stay in them. If you see here in Mumbai, it is totally unsuitable for it. But they did it because they thought it was good. In the same way, the Britishers tried to impose whatever things they had. And they wanted us to accept that whatever Britishers have is good because we were the servants. See how many Britishers were there in India when they were ruling us. How many people were in the army? Are you aware that the greatest number of the army Jawans, foot soldiers as they call it, which fought in the Second World War, was from India? Greatest number, not from other countries. And Britishers here never had their people in the army more than 1 lakh number. Can you understand that? Whether
Yes.
army
Yeah.
or the government. So how did they rule the country? By making them feel that whatever they have is worthless. And if you look at their time, you might feel that it was very easy for them to do this way, because you had the idea that Sanjay saw the Mahabharat and explained it to Dhritarashtra with the help of the Siddhi that was given by Vyasadeva to him for this particular purpose. There was no television at that time, no telephones, no aeroplanes, say 150 years back. So it was very, very easy to ridicule and say that these are all ये गप है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं हो सकता है. So people tend to think, yes, हो सकता है, ऐसा ही है. Probably Britishers are right, and because Britishers had won. So the divide and rule policy which the Britishers followed throughout their stay here has brought our society to this state of affairs. It continued for the last 70 years also. That is why, you see, you will be rather surprised to hear one experiment I did with somebody in America who makes the meridian checking machine. Meridians, Chinese meridians, as you may say. In Chinese medicine, they have the system of meridians, working meridians on our human body. And they are checked with the machines, which is made in America. Now, I told the person concerned, I will recite the mantras and you check with your machine what is the effect. Before the chanting of mantra, reading was taken of theirs, and after they listened to the mantras, reading were taken again. And the real fun was the effect on all these meridians was shown in a very, very nice way, pronounced way. The normal procedure is they would have acupuncture needles or acupressure points, and then they can get some results. Here I was sitting in my room in Mumbai, and the person concerned was sitting in America in his office. And still this kind of a result was obtained. Now, is it something that you would believe or you won't believe?
Yeah, I would believe, yeah, because energy level must have been passed on to it when you were chanting.
Because now you realize that yes, energies can be transmitted this way, but transmitting just somewhere or on the specific points, because you will know that acupressure calls for certain specific points, source points or whatever they say, for the energies. When they got activated, how is it that just by listening to whatever I was chanting, they were not Indians, they were Americans and did not know a single word of Sanskrit language, had nothing to do with the Hindu religion. But this is what happened. I have the proof. They sent me the readings. Now this is what we can understand today. And my whole exercise is for this purpose only, that our people should at least have a curiosity, jidnyasa, to know whether these things are true. You see, when people say that, okay, you are also a good person, I am also a good person. To say that is different, and to prove a point is different. We have to prove our point. Is it not?
Yes, true.
So that is what we are supposed to do.
Agreed.
If we don't do that, then we are to be blamed. Yes. Third, anyone else?
I have one more question from the participants. Renka ji.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Now, Uh, I have a question, but before that, I would like to say that there is an awakening today about our culture and our ancient practices. We should take it from there. I mean, those days are gone when we used to be, fooled around with and told that we are stupid. Now there is an awakening, and that is a very positive development, is what I see. And my question was, um, normally each one of us studies nowadays only to have a livelihood, like Dr. G was just saying. But a very few minuscule handful are able to make a profession out of something that they can give back to society, and are capable of it, not just wanting it. So, what do you think about them? And that kind of karma, the work that they do, I feel is different from what a normal person, say an engineer from a polluting industry, he's also working very hard. But his contribution compared with contribution from such a person, I would like to hear what you have to say about it. Thank you.
I did not hear properly.
Okay.
Clear about what is the question that you want to make.
The question is,
Yeah.
am I audible now? Am I audible
Yes,
now?
yes, you are audible now, yes.
Awesome. Thing is, most of us study so that we can earn money, have a livelihood. Almost all of us. But there is a handful who make their passion their profession, and this is something that will contribute towards the welfare of the society and the world at large. How do you weigh the contribution of such people as against another person, say an engineer, who's also working very hard and very honestly for a polluting industry, say? So the karma factor of these two people are going to differ, are they not?
Yes, karma, what you do is two ways. One is nitya karma and another is kamya karma.
Huh.
An engineer working in the anti-pollution department is a kamya karma for himself to earn his livelihood.
Huh.
And somebody who is doing it so as to remove the pollution and benefit each and everybody, that is something he is doing on his own, which has a greater potential of reward in the eyes of the Lord.
Yes. Yes.
And so it should be in our eyes.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
Sir, we have a couple of questions on the group chat. Which Veda has information about human health?
Human health.
Yeah.
See, Vedas are not textbooks on human health. Their passing references do come. But if you want to read the real advice on health, you have to go to Ayurveda. It is true that Atharva Veda has many references, many such, you can say, remedies available for different kind of diseases. The remedies are in the form of herbs and things of that kind. But it is also true that recitation of the mantras do help in removing the effects of dushkarma. But just reciting the mantra is not the only thing. The tapas that you are supposed to undergo has an equal effect on that. Yes, please.
Yeah, yes, sir. But so another question is, yes, please continue, sir.
Hmm?
For health or
For health. Okay, listen. Rasa, Atma, Mata, Pitru, Sambhava, Bhuteshu. Could you get each part of the word correctly? Rasa, Atma, Mata, Pitru, Sambhava, Bhuteshu. Rasa is what we eat and it gets converted to in our stomach. That is rasa. Atma. Atma is our own self. There are things which are inherited from last births and they are carried here. So are the mother and fathers, you can say, inheritance which we have inherited. So from that, what we have to see is those doshas are taken care of and they are treated in a better way. So now I'll recite. Rasa, Atma, Mata, Pitru, Sambhava, Bhuteshu. Swasti Vayave Swaha. Swasti Vayave Swaha. This Swasti is supposed to be the wife of Vayu. Normally you will find that our system is to take the name of the Shakti and Shaktiman both, like Parvati Parameshwara, Lakshmi Narayana. Swaha is the wife of Agni. So most of the times we say Agnaye Swaha. In the same way, I have recited here, Swasti Vayave Swaha. Yes, now further. Vishvakarmane Namaha. Vishvatmane Namaha. Vishvarupaya Namaha. Prajapataye Namaha. Srashtre Namaha. Dhatre Namaha. Now, next mantra I will recite 10 times. You kindly try to feel whether you get any vibrations around your body or even spread in your room or you're above the head, by the side and wherever. Vibhave Namaha. Vibhave Namaha. Vibhave Namaha. Vibhave Namaha. Vibhave Namaha. vibhave na ma. Could you experience anything? Any of you?
Yeah, it was cooling effect was there.
What effect?
Cooling effect.
Yes, okay. Anyone else? Two participants have raised hands. Please let me know what they have to say.
It was very good, Dr. Ji.
Yeah,
I could sense the vibration in the hands and
right.
Yeah,
palm.
my palm was feeling heat, palm and leg, palm, and palm and leg. Palm.
What's your name, you said?
Sushant.
Sushant Patil. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Anyone else?
Dr. Ji, I have a question. Can
Yeah.
I ask now?
Please.
Okay, so as you chant mantras, we experience the effects. So, but in this modern life, we all don't know all these mantras. And also, you spoke about not just chanting these mantras, but there is the involvement of tapas. So,
Yes.
how will we ordinary people know about all these things and get benefited? Thank you.
I told you about the example of mother and a child. When a mother gives birth to the child, the mother does not have to be told that you must love the child now. Is it necessary to tell her that?
No.
Is it necessary that you have to tell her that now you have to feed the child? The milk comes automatically in her body. Is it not true?
Correct.
So it is the heart which really matters. You must
Right.
do the things from your heart. Or as I would say, from the Sushumna. Sushumna takes you to the Lord.
Okay.
It is chanting through the Sushumna.
Okay.
One can learn that. It is not difficult. But you have to make efforts.
Right. But chanting through Sushumna also we don't know, right? In this.
Yes, but that can be learned. That is not a problem. I can tell you that, how to do it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr.
Yeah, we have created a separate group for that. Those who want to learn and participate and experience the mantra under the guidance of Dhananjay Dongreji. Many are already part of the group. Soon we will be starting some activity in that group. Yeah.
Sure, sir. Actually, I also opted for that option, but I didn't get any updates on it.
Yeah, we'll soon announcing activities in that.
Sure, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think we have done with all the questions and group chat questions also.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So with this we'll conclude this today's webinar.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining for today's webinar. Tomorrow we'll have a separate webinar on the different topic of naturopathy and yoga from Dr. Prakash. We'll meet in that tomorrow's webinar. Thank you all.